Japan is widely recognized as a peaceful country. However, in 2007, an incident occurred that not only shook Japan, but also sent shockwaves through Britain. This event was as tragic as it was chilling, and the criminal behind it was shockingly cunning. To capture this criminal, the police even announced a reward of 700,000. Yet, this single perpetrator managed to outwit Japan's entire police force for 2 years, creating havoc in their efforts to catch him. The methods the criminal used to evade capture were beyond anyone's imagination. This story is so unbelievable that it feels straight out of a movie. So what exactly happened? Who was the victim? Who was the killer? And how did this lone criminal manage to bring the police to their knees? Stay tuned until the end of this video to uncover the full story. When you hear about how the criminal was finally captured, the court's verdict, and how he earned millions while in jail, it might be hard to believe. But trust me, the entire tale is worth knowing. Before we dive into the story, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon so you don't miss out on such gripping stories. Now, let's begin with the key characters of this incident, as understanding them is crucial to grasping the full story. The first important character in this tale is Lindsay Hawker, a young woman born on December 30th, 1984 in England. Her father's name was Bill Hawker, and her mother's name was Julia Hawker. After Lindsay's birth, the family moved to a town called Coventry, where Lindsay began her schooling. She excelled in academics, which earned her admission to one of England's top institutions, the University of Leeds. In 2006, Lindsay graduated with a degree in biology. Apart from academics, she had also trained in martial arts. After completing her degree, Lindsay aspired to pursue a master's degree, but decided to take a break to explore new experiences. This led her to move to Japan as an English teacher. She applied to several prestigious institutions in Japan and was eventually selected by NOVA, one of Japan's largest private English teaching institutes. Lindsay moved to Tokyo for her new role, where she was assigned to a small city nearby. She shared an apartment with 2 other foreign women. While in Japan, Lindsay stayed in touch with her parents and boyfriend in England via email, Skype, and phone calls. One day, she emailed her boyfriend, mentioning a peculiar encounter she had with a man. This brings us to the second crucial character in this story, Tatsuya Ichihashi. Tatsuya was born on January 5, 1979, in the Chubu region of Japan. His mother was a dentist, and his father was a well-known doctor in the city. Tatsuya's parents had high hopes for him to become a doctor as well. However, Tatsuya showed little interest in studies and failed to pursue a medical career. In 2005, he graduated from a university with a degree in horticulture, but didn't pursue any stable career. Instead, he relied on the monthly allowance of $50,000 to $60,000 from his parents. Most of his time was spent wandering, visiting gyms, or taking martial arts classes, where he earned a black belt. The fateful encounter between Lindsay and Tatsuya occurred one day when Lindsay was returning home from work via train. Tatsuya approached her, claiming, "You are my English teacher." Lindsay, puzzled, replied, "I don't recognize you. You must be mistaken." However, Tatsuya insisted, "No, my name is Tatsuya Ichihashi. Perhaps you don't remember, but I've taken your English class before." This led to a brief conversation between the two. Tatsuya then requested Lindsay to give him private English lessons, offering to pay her $35 per hour. Initially hesitant, Lindsay eventually agreed, but made it clear that the lessons would take place in a public cafe, not at his home. Their first meeting was arranged at a well-known cafe in the city. After the conversation, Lindsay arrived at her train station, picked up her bicycle, and began heading home. However, she soon realized that Tatsuya was following her. To shake him off, Lindsay sped up, pedaling faster toward her destination. But Tatsuya persisted, continuing to follow her. When Lindsay finally reached her home, the boy says, "Please forgive me. I think I may have troubled you. I just came here to say sorry." To this, Lindsay replies calmly, "All right, I forgive you. Now leave." But the boy insists, "I'm feeling really thirsty. Could you please give me a glass of water? Then I'll leave." Using the excuse of drinking water, Tatsuya sneaks into Lindsay's house. Once inside, Tatsuya notices 2 of Lindsay's roommates who were living with her. Lindsay introduces Tatsuya as her student and heads to the kitchen to get water for him. As Lindsay gets the water, Tatsuya sits in the living room and quickly sketches a rough drawing on a piece of paper. Within minutes, he writes his name, mobile number, and Skype ID on the drawing and hands it to Lindsay before leaving, promising her that he will return to learn English. On Saturday, March 24, 2007, at around 2 p.m., Lindsay and Tatsuya meet at a cafe in the city. Lindsay teaches him English for almost an hour. As the session ends, Tatsuya nervously says, "I forgot my wallet at home. If you don't mind, could you come with me? I'll give you the money there." Lindsay agrees and they hire a taxi to head to Tatsuya's flat. Once they arrive, Lindsay says, "Bring the money here and hand it to me." But somehow Tatsuya convinces Lindsay to come inside the house. Before entering, Lindsay tells the taxi driver, "Wait here, I'll be back in a little while." Saying this, both Lindsay and Tatsuya enter the house. The taxi driver waits outside for 7 minutes, but when Lindsay doesn't return, he leaves without informing anyone. By now, evening has fallen. Lindsay's roommates were waiting for her to return, but as time passed, their concern grew. They tried contacting Lindsay but failed. The next day, they reported her disappearance to the local police. Initially, the police didn't file a case and decided to wait for Lindsay to return. However, when Lindsay didn't attend her classes on March 25th or March 26th, her institute informed her parents in England that she had been missing for 2 days and that no contact could be made with her. On March 27th, following a missing report filed by Lindsay's roommates, the police began investigating. They started by questioning her roommates but didn't gather much information. During the search of Lindsay's room, the police found the drawing given by Tatsuya with his contact details. Using this clue, the police tracked down Tatsuya's address. A CCTV footage analysis revealed that Tatsuya had no significant criminal record apart from a minor altercation. With no concrete evidence against him, the police decided to question him further. On March 27th, 2 officers visited Tatsuya's address in Japan. According to Japanese law, police cannot search a residence without proper warrants or evidence, so the officers refrained from forcing entry. They questioned neighbors instead, one of whom mentioned, "Yesterday, there was a lot of noise coming from Tatsuya's house. It sounded like something was being broken." From outside, the police observed that all the lights in the house were off, but they heard faint noises from within. Realizing something was amiss, they called for backup. By 7 p.m., 7 additional officers arrived. The team surrounded the house, taking positions on different floors. 2 hours passed, and Tatsuya didn't emerge. Suddenly, he opened the door and attempted to flee with a small bag on his back. The officer near the door tried to stop him, but Tatsuya managed to escape, evading the police. The police immediately entered the house. Inside, they found the place in complete disarray. Broken items were scattered everywhere. In the bathroom, they noticed a bathtub filled with sand and dirt. When they inspected the bathtub, their worst fears were confirmed. It contained Lindsay's decomposing body. Her head was shaved and her body bore deep wounds. Various decomposing agents were found in the tub, apparently used to accelerate the decomposition process. The police now understood the severity of the crime and began a manhunt for Tatsuya on a large scale. Posters of him were plastered across the city, and raids were conducted. However, no significant leads emerged. On March 29, 2007, the police discovered a large shopping trolley behind Tatsuya's apartment. Investigations revealed that the trolley was used to transport Lindsay's body. The body was taken to be destroyed. A bag of earth was brought for this purpose. The police were already investigating here when they received a tip-off. It was reported that the suspect had been seen at a hotel. Based on this confidential information, a team of 20 police officers was formed, and they raided the Love Hotel in East Tokyo. However, their efforts were in vain because Tatsuya was already on the run. The police then started putting up large posters around the city, offering a reward of almost 600,000 yen for any information leading to Tatsuya's capture. Despite all efforts, Tatsuya's whereabouts remained unknown. By early 2008, the investigation was nearly halted. The case had gained widespread media coverage and public sympathy for Lindsay, but the sluggish pace of the investigation fueled growing anger. Meanwhile, Lindsay's parents traveled from England to Japan, demanding that authorities intensify the investigation. The British Embassy in Japan also urged the Japanese government to apprehend the killers quickly. Public anger toward the Japanese police grew, and campaigns like Justice for Lindsay began to spread. To assist in the case, a team of detectives from York, England arrived in Japan. Due to mounting pressure, the Japanese police renewed their investigation with full force in October 2008, deploying 140 officers. The police made some progress as they started receiving reports of sightings of Tatsuya, but every time they arrived, he had already fled. By the end of October 2008, the police issued a statement claiming that Tatsuya had committed suicide. However, they had not yet recovered his body, nor provided solid evidence. Lindsay's parents and the Japanese media rejected the claim, accusing the police of weakening the case. After further criticism, the investigation continued, but with no significant leads. On January 15, 2009, Japan Today reported that Tatsuya had fled to the Philippines, although there was no concrete evidence to support this. By March 2009, 2 years had passed since Lindsay's disappearance, and her killer had still not been found. On the second anniversary of her death, a memorial event was held in Japan to honor her. As pressure mounted on the police, they resumed the investigation, placing life-size cutouts of Tatsuya around major cities in Japan. On June 26, 2009, the National Police Agency of Japan increased the reward for information on Tatsuya to 6 million yen. This tactic proved effective when a plastic surgeon in Nagoya identified a patient who had undergone plastic surgery. The patient matched the description of Tatsuya and had altered his facial features, including lifting his nose, removing moles, and changing the fold of his eyelids. The doctor showed police before and after photos of the surgery, which helped the police piece together how Tatsuya had used plastic surgery to evade detection. A few days later, a worker in Nagoya saw someone who resembled Tatsuya and informed the police. With this new lead, the police carefully tracked Tatsuya's movements. On November 10, 2009, they raided a construction site in Osaka. Tatsuya, who was trying to escape, realized his time had come. He surrendered to the police, raising both hands in defeat. He was sent to police custody, where he was questioned intensively. However, he continued to deny his involvement in Lindsay's murder. Finally, after intense interrogation, Tatsuya revealed the chilling truth. He explained that when he first saw Lindsay on the train, he had already decided to harm her. He tricked her into coming to his house under the pretext of offering her money for English lessons. Once inside, he attempted to assault her, but Lindsay, trained in martial arts, fought back. Both of them fought for a while, but eventually, Tatsuya broke Lindsay's ribs and she fell to the ground. He then sexually assaulted her and strangled her to death. After the murder, he hid her body in the bathroom, where he used dirt, sand, and decomposing agents to destroy all evidence. Afterward, he disposed of her belongings and made plans to escape. He fled from city to city, eventually deciding to undergo plastic surgery to change his appearance. As the son of a doctor, he was familiar with the process and managed to undergo surgery successfully, evading detection for a while. Once Tatsuya confessed to his crimes, the case was brought to trial in the Shiba District Court. His lawyers argued that Tatsuya had not intentionally killed Lindsay, but that her death had occurred accidentally while he was attempting to suffocate her during the assault. The prosecution demanded the death penalty, but in September 2010, some newspapers reported that Tatsuya publicly apologized to Lindsay's parents. While in prison, Tatsuya wrote a book detailing his encounter with Lindsay and how he murdered her. The book became a bestseller, and he earned millions from its sales, offering to donate the proceeds to Lindsay's parents, though they rejected his offer. In 2013, a film was made about the case, and the legal proceedings continued. On January 21, 2011, the Shiba District Court sentenced Tatsuya to life imprisonment. Lindsay's parents, however, demanded the death penalty, but the court rejected this, reasoning that Tatsuya, at 32, still had a chance for rehabilitation. This decision sparked widespread criticism, with many questioning why a 32-year-old murderer was given the chance to rehabilitate while Lindsay, at just 22, had no future. Despite the controversy, the court upheld the life sentence. Tatsuya is currently serving his sentence in prison. What do you think about the court's decision? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. If you appreciate our work, like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll be back with another true crime story. Thank you.